All right, Marfoogle TV going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. All right, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about a lot of really, really wacky stuff today, including Future Us. Of course, we're going to talk about early apocalypse tracking systems for elites, tracking private jets. We're going to talk about that here in a bit. But first, let's get into kind of the nitty-gritty. We've got Cuba sees higher risk of U.S. military aggression as talks stall. Now, if you just saw the video I just put out, I believe that this is an absolute. We are going to go I wouldn't even call it a war with Cuba. We're going to be doing something with Cuba here very, very soon. And that's because it's on the list of countries that are all attached to China. They're all this kind of China stunt, right? Cuba's Deputy Foreign Minister Josefina Vidal says the risk of U.S. military aggression against the island growing as negotiations between the nations stagnate, she said on Thursday. And I think a lot of the negotiations aren't really negotiations. It's much like, we do this, you do that, and you say yes. Speaking at a legislative hearing at the national capital to announce U.S. sanctions on Cuban oil imports, Vidal, and again, this is all about oil. This is all about they're obviously blockading this. There's been something going on in Cuba from what I hear from actual Cubans, and they've said that the island has been used as kind of a thoroughfare. Basically, that things have been going through Cuba too that have been going to China, that they have been kind of skirting around different sanctions through Cuba. Which makes sense. But Vidal accused of Washington of fabricating pretexts to portray Cuba as a threat to national security. The president essentially said that a failing nation 90 miles off our coast is a threat to national security, which, yes, again, if you have a desperate country right below you, then that is sort of a national security interest. But a lot of people on the other side argue, well, why is it failing? Every day, the danger of military aggression against Cuba grows. They slow drip this stuff. They are obviously about to do something with Cuba. The patterns have never lied. Bones Secor, thank you. I appreciate that. Says, hi, everyone. Again, much love from my son, Edmund, and I. Well, nice to see you guys, and I'm glad both of you are here. All right, we're gonna talk about all sorts of good stuff here today, so stick around. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. A lot of stuff. Somebody says that's code for we want to take over Cuba. Somebody else, of course, popped in and gave 10 badges. Thank you, Wally. Thank you. I appreciate that. And make sure to drop a W in the chat for Wally. Again, thank you. And I'm sure that was very awesome. 10 people just got different badges, so thank you. All right, let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so let's talk about this tentative 60-day agreement reached on Iran.
So, we can't get an actual agreement to end the war, and this is like probably the third time we've had another ceasefire agreement, but they're saying there's a tentative agreement has been reached for a 60-day memorandum of understanding to extend the ceasefire. Now, I want to remind folks that aren't familiar with laws and agreements, a memorandum of understanding is not an agreement. It's literally that. It's a letter saying we have an understanding that we want an agreement.
It's a memo.
Yeah, it's basically a light version of the agreement. Instead of writing an agreement, you say we think we're going to do this, this, and this, and that's our understanding of what the agreement should be. Then you go write the agreement, and all of that is just for a ceasefire, for a 60-day ceasefire. It's not even for that. All it does is it says, and then if we get this, quote unquote, begin negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program. So we're starting over again from square one. So this is like this never-ending circle of negotiation, ceasefire, end ceasefire, start ceasefire, negotiate again. It's a stall tactic. Now, I will say the one thing that would make sense is that China is continuing to feel the effects of this. Every day that goes by that we continue to blockade the oil out of Iran, that's oil that's not going to China, and it's hurting them. So if you think of it as a bigger picture, if there's a strategic value in slow rolling this and stalling it, it's that you're hurting China. But if you're looking at it just at a microscopic level and how do you deal with Iran, to think you're going to negotiate your way out of this, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're talking like this is all about Iran. This isn't about Iran anymore. I mean, this is not about nuclear weapons in Iran's possession. This is about China. This is about trying to stall them for 6 months so they can I shouldn't say catch up, so they can get a lead on this AI race. That's what I think this is coming down to. Or just stunting China to where they end up having to go, hey, we've got to put out these fires before we start lighting this one, right? I mean, this actually, the longer it goes on, I mean, it's super obvious that they're just going in circles and circles and circles and dots and dots and dots. I mean, it's just, it's insane. It's one thing after another. I understand it too. It's like they understood that we have oil here, so like we're going to be hit the hardest last. Out of all of these other countries that are getting hit right now, I mean, everybody's getting hit hard. Everybody is, if there was some guarantee that in the end of this that we would be better off, I would actually think I would support this because it actually stunts one of our biggest, our biggest adversaries, and it helps in that way. But at the same time, it's going to hurt all of us in the meantime. But what are we doing this for? The near future, in the next couple of years, AI, this same AI that they're all in a race for, this AI is going to destroy us. By 2030, we were going to have all sorts of positions that are taken by AI agents and instead of people. So it's like, what do we want to help them for? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And then ex-CIA official arrested after $40 million in gold bars allegedly found at his home. This one's a wild one. So this one's really, really, somebody commented on Twitter earlier today, says, well, no wonder they don't want to, audit Knox or the vault and see how much gold is in there, Fort Knox. And again, now they're saying that this guy ended up having $40 million worth of gold bars, which I don't even know how many gold bars that would be. Gold is so expensive right now, and each gold bar is worth a huge chunk of money. I'm guessing he just kind of grabbed a gold bar when he could. A former
303 of them.
I didn't realize it would be that many. That's a lot of weight. Holy moly! Wait. Did you say over 800?
Oh, 303.
Okay,
303
still.
gold bars. $40 million. Yes, it's a lot of money.
That's like, what is that, a small pallet? Oh my gosh, and this CIA, I'm guessing, how did he get them? Did they tell us how they got them? How did he get them?
Yeah, he requested them as part of his job, saying he needed it as expenses for what he was doing in the CIA. And the reason they were investigating him is he had falsified his credentials to get the job with the CIA.
Oh!
It actually applied to them numerous times and kept falsifying his record until he finally got hired. And then they started investigating him for the falsifications. What? And they went into his home and they were investigating him for all this money because he had taken all this money from the government as needing it for putting in requests for over and over again for all of these expenses that were needed for missions or whatever for the CIA. And he ended up walking in his door and finding $40 million in gold bars and $2 million in US currency and 35 luxury watches.
Okay, so and those luxury watches, by the way, they go up in value. Like if you have Rolexes and things like that, he was buying those because those are things that you could pawn and sell, that you could go on the low, right? Everything that he had. So, and somebody, Sean CTX, I got a kick out of that. I don't know if you meant that to be funny, but it says you don't just run away with that kind of weight. Yeah, you can't really load that up in your pockets. I jokingly named this show, or the show right before this, with the $250 bill, Middle East helicopter filler, because that's where the $250 bills I would assume would go, right? If we had $100 bills in that one of the kings or one of the guys who escaped, I think it was Syria. So it was either Syria or one of the air bases. I forget. There's been so many damn Middle East wars. But this guy had just pallets of money, and it was him. As he was escaping, he basically said, don't grab the clothes, don't grab the food, grab the money. So he had a truck, like a Jeep or something, filled with money, and he had his helicopter filled with American cash and gold bars. I'm surprised they were able to take off, right? And then this guy, it's like the CIA does. I'm surprised that he got in trouble for that. So the CIA wants somebody who can infiltrate something. This guy actually is a good agent because he was able to infiltrate the CIA. Dex, think about that. He falsified his stuff and infiltrated the frickin' CIA and then used it to then get all of this money. And if they didn't walk in on it, he got away with it. If they didn't find it, he was investigated for falsifying his resume. Wow. I mean, when he's sitting in jail, I bet they're going to take him out of jail. You know why? Because this was so skilled that they probably will end up saying, hey, we want you to do this dangerous operation or something. And, this guy is obviously talented if he was able to do this. Dex, what do you think? I mean, like, this is unbelievable. $40 million and 300 gold bars.
He's either super talented or our government is
super
run
dumb
by super dumb people. And it's probably a little bit of both, and or a lot of both, to be honest. And but for this guy to end up with that much cash, I mean, yeah, that's and each time he applied, he kept not getting the job. So he'd come back with new records and new claims and falsifying his record even more till he finally got a job.
How incompetent is that? Where they and the thing is he's not here because they're like, hey, what did you spend this money on? It doesn't sound like they asked about the money or the gold bars. Like, no wonder we're going in the hole. And this is just one
That's
CIA.
What they found. Imagine what he's got stashed. Imagine, I mean, if he had 40 million there, you got to believe he had more somewhere else, right?
Well, what was his job? He was obviously in other countries undercover. And what, they just literally brought him gold bars? Or how? Wait. Oh my God. And it does make sense, like, why they don't want to audit what if they've been using the freaking Fort Knox bars as, like, all of their covert operations? What if they're I mean, they still haven't gone into Fort Knox. What if they're literally using those gold bars to do all of these covert operations and to pay for the CIA to do all of these clandestine operations? That's nuts. I mean, this is just bad.
Well, and he went way too far, right? Like, if he'd had a few million, he probably would have never been caught. And even if he did, he probably could have hit it, right?
But they're not even saying he got caught because of the money, though. He got caught because
well, no, they were investigating the money too. But
okay,
they were shocked when they showed up because he was asking. He kept asking for money. He kept putting in these requests for money for expenses, and that was part of the CIA asked the FBI to investigate him.
Okay,
and they walked in and found more than they were looking for.
You know what's scary about this is how much money he was actually trying to get. He was trying to get, like, he knew how much money he had. I mean, maybe he thought that he just had an endless, like, a cheat code or something. But this just doesn't make logical sense. Like, does he know something? Like, was he put in a position in the CIA where he found out something bad is coming? Like, he was stocking up for an apocalypse, it sounds like. Like, why would you need that much money? Especially if you were getting away with it, it just seems like that's so excessive, especially if you couldn't spend it on paper. Like, you have to do things on the low. That's so much money to last forever if you were going to go to some other country and be somebody else. Obviously, he's good at falsifying records and things, so maybe he was going to go falsify and then all of a sudden be a billionaire or something, but...
Well, the other thing we're not thinking of is he may just be the cog in the wheel. He may just be the scapegoat. Like there could be a bigger operation behind this that was using this as a channel to funnel stuff out of the government, fraudulently, and he's just the fall guy. He's just the person that got caught in the middle. And there could be something much more larger at play here.
Yeah, because the guy whoever's approving the requests, right? Oh yeah, no, that sounds right. You need a gold bar for dinner with Hajid. Okay, yeah, dinner with Hajid. I think this is reasonable. He's only asking for 1 gold bar. Yeah, let's send it to him. We're gonna need an agent in place, and we're gonna have to take a gold bar to him. Like, they're physically handing this over to him too. It's not like
he does one a day for a year, right?
Yeah, that's seriously, that's almost how much it is. And then, yeah, think about that. How long was he working for? Like, was this over 10 years? Was this over 6 months? Like, why would you need that many gold bars? Today is a blessing. Tomorrow may not come. Be prepared both with Jesus in the physical, because we don't know if tomorrow will be. Always tell fam and friends you love them. God bless and much love. Sweat Ministries, thank you. Steve Click says, no, it's not that talented. Just no oversight, and he's a dummy for overdoing it. That's for sure. I saw a lot of people in chat say, well, I would love 1 gold bar, or I would love gold bars. I'm sure we stole a bunch from Saddam. Yeah, that's true too. And then, of course, thank you, Delta Wildman. I appreciate that support. And then, before we go any further, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out Jace if you haven't already. If you don't have antibiotics on hand, this is a great way and resource to do that. Go to marfooglenews.com/Jace. This is a handy kit that will go be discreetly to your door. You'll have it for any kind of disaster, whether it be a hurricane, an earthquake. If you are cut off from the rest of the world, or if that road is out, then you will have that on hand. There's been so many different disasters where the 4-letter agency that's supposed to help them ended up turning people around right into the fire, quite literally. So make sure to go check this out, marfooglenews.com/Jace. Make sure to use code MARF to get savings and to help us out at the same time. It's it's been harder and harder to even put something like this together. So thank you guys. We appreciate you guys sharing us out more than anything. And then exclusive, Pentagon says military personnel are reportedly being targeted using location data. Dex, talk about this.
So our U.S. forces that are deployed in the war zones have been targeted using commercially available location data, according to reports that are being fielded by the military officials. So, we talk about the fact that all of this data that's available to businesses or entities and marketers, where they can buy data about locations and who's where. And we've seen the maps of people and their cell phones moving from here to there, and they're able to do that and buy that data. That's the same type of data. So not just the fact that maybe somebody may be using some fitness app that's tracking where they're running on a ship, which we saw the French carrier gave away their location because somebody was wearing a wearable. But now they're talking just having a cell phone, just having an account that is showing location and having location information. That information, because it goes back into that marketplace and can be bought by marketers, is being bought by the enemy and used to find our military officials or military members while they're out, even in the war zone. And so that's what they're saying here. The letter shared by U.S. Senator Ron Wyden and Oregon Democrat U.S. Central Command said that they received multiple threat reports concerning adversary exploitations of commercial location data to target or surveil U.S. personnel in the theater. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. We've done this to ourselves.
Yeah, all of that, anybody steps on any app, all of that information is freely bought by anybody, companies included. But, any party can go in and buy certain packets of information. And it's like, that's literally what's happening here. And then U.S. imposes fresh sanctions on Iran's military oil sales, Treasury says. U.S. said on Thursday it has imposed new sanctions on Iran's military oil trade, even as Washington and Tehran reached a tentative agreement to extend their, and they say tentative, I mean, it's the memorandum, their ceasefire and lift restrictions on shipping. The Treasury Department said it had sanctioned 8 vessels involved in transporting Iranian oil and petroleum products to global markets. The vessels included the Marshall Islands flagged oil tanker Flora and flagged crude oil tanker Hanakyle. Yeah, so multiple things. And then the $250 that we just talked about, pushed by Treasury appointees. This was a gentleman who is no longer even in office, but for the 250th anniversary of our country, they are talking about a $250 bill with Trump's face on it. Now, it's currently outlawed to have a living person or living president on a bill. And I said my piece over there, that I almost think that these kind of things are put out there. Anybody that does not like the president will already assume, the president wants his picture on the bill. Given his reputation, his my gold name on everything. And it very well could be true, but this also could be something where it's put to directly just cause turmoil and a split and divide with people. Like, this is obviously, the second it came out, people were saying, of course, this megalomaniac wants his face on the bill. Everything else, he's the one who's pushing the 250th anniversary so hard. And it automatically attaches this negative thing to the president. And I'm not saying he didn't, but again, he's not the one who physically suggested. It's this gentleman at the Treasury Department, just in case, because they were talking about putting a $250 bill out for the anniversary, which these things would only be, in CIA's hands or in freaking Las Vegas, showrooms. I would assume that's the only place they would need the $250 bills. It's a commemorative thing, so I don't know if that means that it would just never be used, like the $2 bills kind of thing. I don't know, but... Dex, what do you think about the $250 bill? Do we even need it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be neat. I don't know if it needs to be Trump on it and put him on everything, or he puts himself on everything, because that's just his ego, and that's okay. He likes that thing. Doesn't mean that that's what should happen here. But what's interesting is there was an artist who designed the mock-up. So there was a whole bunch of people last year that were running around saying, "Get this bill designed, because there's this thing going through Congress that
is
might
that his
pass,
mugshot,
which will allow it." And yeah, it's definitely his blue steel face, right? Isn't that what we call it? But the artist who said he designed the mock-up said he had spoken with Trump about it. The British painter Ian Alexander said Trump endorsed changes to his original design, such as adding the colors to the American flag and the logo commemorating the 250th anniversary of the nation's founding. Quote, "He likes to call me his favorite British artist," said Alexander. So to that extent, there is, at least one person claiming, hey, this was, something that went all the way up to Trump. It wasn't just people in the office saying they needed to do it because there was some bill going through Congress that might require them to do it. So they were going to get a jump start on the pre-work, so to speak.
And the guy who designed it is a competitive swimmer and a DJ. That's a mix. And apparently artist, and describes himself as a royal portrait artist of Queen Elizabeth and others. Well, how do you go from being a DJ, like, let's rock this house, all right, all 8 of you get on the floor, to I'm painting a picture of Queen Elizabeth? He must be a talented guy. And then to go to that, to design something that anybody could design in like, PixArt. I don't know. And then... this is okay. So this starts out the weird stuff. Dex, I know you didn't get a chance to go fully into this because there's a lot here, but Dex, your theory, you said on the show the other day, it's fun to theorize about these kind of things, about the future aliens, about they're talking not in the main circles, but in some of these off circles that these aliens that we keep talking about, that they may actually be us from the future. And a lot of the stuff coming out about these alien UFOs and these ships are that they might actually be able to bend time and space. In fact, the gentleman that just the other day that came out and did an interview, he basically said that they had a problem, that the U.S. is reverse engineering these things, and that they're putting pilots and test piloting these things in California, and that it's a huge ordeal because the pilots can't actually, they're not doing well flying these things, and they get sick and they get ill. And it's because it's not G forces like a normal, jet pilot, that it's forces that we don't even know, I don't even know how to describe, that these things can bend time and space. Because if you're going, faster than light, or if you're going even faster than what anything we know, that's because it's doing something that we currently can't even wrap our heads around, that it's possibly bending time and space to go that fast. It's not a vehicle with a propulsion system just pushing it faster. It's literally bending time and space to go that fast, to travel those points. And everybody has been talking about this and saying that what they're saying is happening and saying is true is that essentially this is these are time machines, that no country, no human being right now could control this, or to have this go out, it would be something that it would not fly, because this would be something where you could literally alter time. And then others are saying, if that's true, that maybe that's why we're having so many Mandela effects and things like this, because time is being altered. Now, this is a clip here.
I want to jump ahead.
Let me go to this clip of the girl.
P47, P47, they're from here. Is
3.
Have you heard of the P52s and the P47s?
The P40s and the P47s and P52s. Now, before we go into this clip, I want to mention what they talked about beforehand. Is that a lot of folks thought she was an alcoholic. I mean, you could tell, like, during this, it's like she's had a couple drinks or whatever. A lot of people thought she was just some crazy wacko. She has two master's degrees in electrical engineering, chemistry, physics, genetic engineering, and nanotechnology. She was the head of certain entities in Rocket City in Alabama. This is the same place where they ended up taking, back in World War II, they ended up recruiting 16 scientists for you-know-what, right? And there's also a side theory that these scientists might not actually be gone, that they have actually been recruited for something else. And that's spooky too, because if you think about if they're being recruited for some sort of calamitous event and they've gone underground and now they're helping build some sort of underground city, that's spooky too. That's a side theory that's going on right now too, which we'll go to in a second. But just listen to this clip. This was one of the missing scientists that went missing. And of course, a lot of people have been following this, but just listen.
Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. P47 is present plus 47,000 years. P52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
Okay.
Right. So, and I saw this about a month ago, but the more and more that adds into this whole, the future. Dex, have you ever heard Amy Eskridge? Did you see that video before? Have you?
No, I've heard of her in the sense that she's one of the names that we've talked about that's been missing, and I've seen the clips of her, but not that specific one about the future. But
remember, can you just talk about that? I mean, you've said before, like a lot of the things around this talk about these, that aliens are actually us from the future, right?
Yeah, I think it's the most plausible. It's an easy thing to wrap your head around. If you believe that time travel is possible at some point in the future, not right now, because obviously we can't see it and we haven't done it. But if you believe that there is a way to bend time and space, because space is all flat, everything that we understand is flat and linear, and Like our galaxy is flat, our solar system is flat, everything else is flat. I know some other people think about the Earth, they think it's that way too, but nonetheless, moving across it, if you can warp it and basically take that flat piece of paper and bend it in half and jump from one section to another, can you move forward in time, backwards in time in a way? And if you believe that theory is possible, we just don't have the technology, well, then the answer is somebody has it in the future. And if they have it in the future and they can go back in time, they can come visit us. So that's the reason why I've always believed that it's very simple to explain that people that are visiting us in these weird crafts, or even the weird crafts without people in them, could be probes from the future that are coming back in time to observe or learn or do something to change the time continuum. That's just been one theory of mine. It's also easy to think, well, maybe there's another planet somewhere with life on it that is just far more advanced than we are.
And so what doesn't make sense is the whole disclosure thing to me, and the timing seems so suspicious. But the more that this is talked about, the more sense that this kind of thing actually makes sense. What's the scary part is the calamity, the coming calamity that is potentially happening very soon. And no matter how or who you talk to, you look at this stuff and you go, well, AI is literally on a road to destroy everything that we know. And I'm not talking about an apocalypse. I'm talking about our jobs, our currency, our money, the way we live, the way of life. I mean, everything will be different in the very, very near future. And if we have any instance of any lesson from the past, it's that anything that is powerful whatsoever is always used as a weapon. It is guaranteed. We are human beings. We're not a type 1 civilization. We're not all, hey, peace, love. It's not Star Trek where there is no more currency. But I mean, there were so many things in Star Trek that actually were so much ahead of its time and probably true about the future, but we're not there yet. We're still at the point where it is petty differences cause huge wars. And when you have huge, powerful weapons like AI, they're going to be used for negative. And whether it causes an apocalypse or just everything in our life to change, it's coming. And now you see all the prep from all of the elites, and it matches. Go ahead.
Yeah, and before you jump to that, I mean, just the AI alone is sort of the kindling or the fire that's going to take us there. Okay. The fact that we are advancing computer technology at a rapid pace still, and I talk about processing power when you look at NVIDIA and what they're doing, but then you also think about quantum computing, which we don't yet fully understand, but we're making massive headways. Something like AI that we have today, which is going to be even more powerful a year from now, is making it easy for us to understand or at least build these new technologies, because we can't think about it and understand and figure out everything we need to figure out quickly, but with AI we can. Okay, so the AI that we have today is the litmus that's going to fire us forward in a rapid acceleration of advanced technology. And because of that, you're going to see that same hockey stick curve that we saw when the internet took over, the hockey stick curve when you saw, the advancements of electricity, or you saw the advancements of the industrialization. You're going to see this rapid advancement of high technology, whether it be robotics, AI controlled robotics, or even solving some of these massive mysteries about how do we, bend time and space, right? How do we, propel faster than we've ever propelled before, whether it's on Earth or off of Earth. And all of those challenges that are really difficult to solve are going to be really easy to solve with faster computing, larger computing. And when you take things like quantum and AI and you start putting them together, you're going to have, what is easy to think as super scary weapons. It's also super scary advancements in technology.
Yeah, and as far as the comment says that she allegedly did self-deletion, right? She spoke multiple times on 3 of the different clips I've seen her talking with other people on these Zoom calls. She said, if they find that I did this to myself, I didn't do this to myself. It is very wild to hear her. If you haven't seen some of the clips, go look up all of her clips, because she's in this particular Zoom. She talks about a lot of stuff. There's other ones. She always has the same background, so it gets confusing which videos to source them from. But she talks about how she was being stalked and followed by different companies, BlackRock and others. They wanted to suppress her work because they basically have a lock on this technology that makes them tons and tons of money, and they don't want anything that would, put anything to that. But she also says that her neighbors in Alabama and Rocket City, that she grew up with all of these people, and her neighbors were these very, very powerful people, and it's like, it seems like when you come up in these kind of crowds, it's like everybody knows everybody. It's all connected. And she was, obviously, she worked with General McCaskill, the other gentleman, the general that went missing. All these people have went missing. And if you look, they all have different talents. And that's why a lot of people are thinking maybe these guys got recruited, that they didn't perish, that they are actually underground, building some sort of underground base. Now, I've talked about this at length the other day too, with the whole thing with the drills, how Elon Musk, everything that he's building is something that is to escape or for some sort of calamity. He talks about it a lot. He believes the world is going to end. He is a doomer, and that's very, very clear. And all of his companies have a purpose, like something is coming. It's just wild. But now, getting back to the early warning tracking system, all of these elites, you've got Jeff Zuckerberg building huge $240 million bunkers underground. We're going to talk about the early warning tracking system here in a second. But before I do, I want to remind you guys, for Earth-made disaster or adversarial disasters, there are certain things that we recommend. One of them is an EMP shield. This is a device that will protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators. Again, this is marfoogle.com/EMP, where you can get an EMP shield. This is the same technology, same company that is outfitting agencies like DHS, DOW, of course, the Dempster team, Air Force, FBI. They're all quietly stocking up and protecting themselves against this kind of thing. So why aren't we? marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. That will not only save you $50 off per device, but it will also help us out at the same time. All right, and then this is an American programmer, and this is being talked about. I want to play the first part of this.
If the world's richest billionaires suddenly try to flee the country all at once, an elite tracking system will now trigger an apocalypse alarm. An American programmer has officially launched the Apocalypse Early Warning System. The concept is simple. It monitors the exact flight data of over 11,000 private jets owned by the world's elite.
Now that alone right there, that is something that, when you go to the source, which is kylemcdonald.net, the gentleman who's doing it, it really does kind of just shake it. It's like, why does it keep pointing towards some sort of imminent event? And it just seems like, that all of these things that the governments are doing, all of the things that the very closest people to the top of the government, I mean, you've got the rich buying rockets, not property. That's to me, that's freaking weird. Or buying farmland, which, everybody thinks it's because of this reason. Maybe it's because of some other reason. Maybe they're trying to come up with fake meat because they're not going to be able to grow regular meat. Maybe we won't be able to have livestock underground, right? The problems of methane. All of the richest people, like, you've got this one figuring out the food situation. You've got this one figuring out this situation. You've got this one figuring out the tunnel situation. You've got this one figuring this out. It's like they know the world's about to go through some sort of huge calamitous event. And then you bring in the UFO stuff. I mean, what people are talking about right now in the main circles of everything, including the elites, the elite educated people, they are all talking about the same stuff. And then we're called crazy, right? We were called crazy when thinking like, oh, they might be using a Walmart as a jail. Like, Harvard professors are saying we're going to get invaded by aliens, and we're the crazy ones. Because we were like, hey, they're going to put, tracking devices in cars by this time, or they're going to put cameras in cars to watch your face. Yeah, that was crazy, right? It's happening, by the way. It's already done in some countries, but yeah. What the hell? Dex, what do you think about this early warning tracking system? It's kind of smart, though. They're tracking private jets.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool app. I know it's on his domain name, but it's EWS dot that name you said, and you can get to
the actual
tracker itself. And yeah, it's a flight tracker, but it's just a flight tracker for the elite's planes. So it's got all the elite planes registered in there, and you'll see. It says, there's some time like a level 5 would be the highest level, and he even says there's occasionally appropriate times when it's actually that level, like Christmas when everybody's flying. So you can kind of have to take those particular moments with a grain of salt. But he goes, but if a random moment in time, all of a sudden you see those jets up, that is potentially an early warning. It's like if you're going to know that that's happening, that's how you would know, is you would see them all on the move. And that's his theory, and that's the system. And you can sign up for it.
Well, you wouldn't have time. If they're on private jets, they're going somewhere to... That's what sucks, is if you think you're going to watch that and do something about it, it's like they're on a private jet for a reason. They're headed to some sort of super bunker, whereas we're just going to get a couple hour warning on whatever's coming, which kind of sucks.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're going to get warning to go buy your private jet and fly somewhere, because if you could do that, you would already be doing that, right? You're just going to have information that maybe can give you a heads up that on your plans that you should already have in place on what you're going to do, whether that's bug in, bug out, gather, head home, gather the troops, so to speak, whatever it is that's important to your plans, your family.
Somebody said BOGO at EpiPen Island or BOGO at EpiPen Island. Yeah, they're all, buy one, get one. Yeah, that's horrible.
But I thought you meant bug out.
No, they're saying buy one, get one at EpiPen Island. That's why all the private jets are in the air. Well, that time has passed. We didn't have trackers back then, but I'm sure that would be the thing. And let's see here. The oblivious are planning cruises. Somebody said stop looking for evil signs. Well, unfortunately, they're now in neon, so it's hard to avoid them. And then let's see here. Blue Origin exploded on the pad. We actually just showed that on our video. Make sure to go check out Marfoogle News right before this. And then Joy Calhoun, the oblivious are planning cruises. I see it, other stuff where I work. Well, we don't know the timeline. It could be in 2030. It could be 27. But I think the wars are popping off. The beginning is either this year or early 2027. I've said that for a very long time, and it looks like it's all lining up. I mean, we're already in wars right now.
Did you get to see the Disclosure Day trailer that came out today?
No,
we can't play it. I wish we could.
There's a new trailer?
Yep, the official trailer is out. I guess the critics have all seen the movie, and of course Steven Spielberg says it's true. And it's in the trailer. He talks about it being a true, like the world should know this is true or something to that effect. You have to dissect his words to see if it's real or not. But yeah, the movie, the trailer looks phenomenal. All the critics came out and said it was like one of the best Steven Spielberg movies of all time. Of course, they're going to say that if they're trying to amp it up, if they're trying to use him, which a lot of people have said that he's being used by the government to be part of the rollout of what we call in the community disclosure, which is the actual evidence or admittance from the government that there is these other forms of life, if you want to call it that, or extraterrestrial crafts, however you want to describe it, whether they're from the future or from another planet or whatever, that there is something there and that they're supposed to tell us that.
Well, that is creepy to think about, but it also has this, it's like he just decides to make this Disclosure Day thing. Obviously, he rolls in the same circles, the rich, the elite, the governments. Steven Spielberg's been pictured with almost every president. He
had a person from within the government who was a part of the UFO investigations or whatever that the government was doing, was on set with him for the making of Close Encounters. So a government official from the UFO department was working with him for Close Encounters. So
Yeah,
that
that
tells
makes
you
sense.
how connected he is, right?
So another thing with that trailer, I did see somebody comparing a picture from one of the trailers when they show 5 UFOs going briefly underwater. And remember the video we looked at? There was actually another video that showed multiple that essentially surfaced and went back underwater. And they show a clip and it looks almost identical, like it's a different viewpoint of it. But their fake videos in the movie look a lot like the real ones in real life that's being disclosed now. And they made it obviously before all of that came out. So it's almost like they were looking at it. They're like, okay, let's redesign it. So they had access to that stuff before the public, which makes you question a lot of stuff.
There's accounts that are saying that some of the footage he has in there are actual real footage that the public's not seen before, that was given to him by the government.
See,
At least that's what they want us to believe.
Yeah, I saw that view too. That same thing. So I haven't seen this new trailer. I'll have to watch it after the show. We can't show it because copyright, but
yeah, it came out. It's on YouTube. You guys should go look at it if you haven't seen it. Just search for
Disclosure Day trailer.
Disclosure Day trailer official. Yeah.
And then, Dex, do you want to just go into this could get messy?
Oh yeah. So look, they're saying that the gaming of the plans have been tabletop exercised for taking of Cuba and what it's going to look like. According to insiders, exercises led by the U.S. Southern Command come out. The administration is intensifying the sanctions aimed at destabilizing the Cuban's communist government. Hopefully toppling it without having to go to the extreme. But they're saying that everything is on the table. Although they're trying to say there's no invasion planned or imminent, according to one of the sources, but they're also saying that everything is still on the table. And when POTUS says go, we're ready for anything. Well, anything would be an invasion. Let's call it what it really is. But officials reportedly believe worsening economic conditions, including blackouts and food shortages, coupled with rising summer temperatures, might trigger unrest, similar to the anti-government protests that erupted across the island in 2021. So, are we going to see sort of the same rise up that we saw in Tehran? And we saw our president say, "Hey, I'm with you. I'm going to come in and back you up. We're going to help you." And then we didn't really do that. We just kind of took out the regime and they all got, slaughtered, so to speak. I don't know how that would work in Cuba. I know obviously that the people there aren't armed. But at the same time, I don't know how well armed the government is there. I'm sure they are, but it will be interesting to see if a uprising like they've had in the past, like the 2021 they talk about, if something like that is stoked by American forces. With Adam, I know we covered the story about the CIA operatives going in undercover with some food initiative, which we know that they were really going in probably to help prepare and create the instability, so to speak, and find the leaders that are going to rise up and get people out in the streets to protest, because that's always the first sign of destabilization. Is you got to find that grassroots movement in the country and bring it to the forefront and grow it quickly, so that it does rise up.
Yeah, with Cuba, I don't know how they're doing or when they're doing it, but they are doing it. They're going to do something with Cuba. Cuba is strategic. It is something that's attached to China. Therefore, it will be addressed. Willie Wayne, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Dex, thank you so much for your service today. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
Make sure to also check out marfooglenews.com/prep. If you don't have food covered, this is a great way to get 25-year shelf life food. Again, marfooglenews.com/prep. No code needed. Just use that website. You can get, of course, food kits. The best deals are on the 1 month and the 3 month. That sounds like crazy, because if you went to the grocery store and got 3 months of food, it would be you would be broke. This is actually a great deal because these are freeze-dried meals and it's all set out for 3 months. It's one of the best deals out there as far as getting yourself into a kit. Now, the actual freeze-dried food has tripled in the last, it's actually, I think it's closer to quadrupled in the last 5 years or 6 years. So if you get this, the good thing about it is they have kept their prices low, but also 25 years. You will not have to worry about how much it's going up because you will have invested in it today. I don't want to say invest, but that's kind of what it is in my eyes, because when you get it now, you're not paying tomorrow's prices or even 10 years from now prices. You're paying today's prices. Think about how much money has gone up in 25 years. Think about how much more expensive this will be. All right, you guys, go to marfooglenews.com/prep and make sure to go check it out. Thank you to all of our top supporters tonight. Again, thank you, Wally, 10 badges, Sweatin' Ministries, Delta Wildman. Thank you. And appreciate the mods by going over to marfooglenews.com. Again, marfooglenews.com. And go check out the Friends page. You have an amazing list of people. Also, you can find a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we have on the show. That way you know exactly where it goes. If you want to see that imploding Blue Origin, that's right over on our last show. So make sure to go click on that. You can go check it out. All right, and also you have tons of resources. You can go to the search bar, say for UFO, boom. You can go there and you can actually see all of the different UFO shows we've done, all of the different videos going back years. So make sure to go check that out. All right, you guys. Thank you, Dex, again. I appreciate you. And everybody that's here, love you. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not an shout out. Or did I do out? It's not a shout out. It's not an outro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shutro? No. It's a slutong. No. It's a shoutro. If you want to join us, you can just sit and chat, and you'll be ported over. Thank you, Leonard Joseph Benevenuti, for subscribing. I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit it and then hit the notification to all. That way you are basically telling YouTube you can't mess with the notifications.